Senator Roberts.
Thank you. Some commentators question whether we should have warriors in the Australian Defence Force. My answer to that question is emphatic. Yes, we should. Australians ask the government to protect us from foreign enemies. There's a line on a map. It's called our national border. Inside that line is the country of Australia and its people, our resources, our families, our property and our way of life. Outside our borders, there are some foreign countries who wish to bend Australia to their will. It's only a matter of time before someone else in the world with a big enough military believes they can change what happens inside our borders. History shows that. As the people of Australia, we ask our Defence Force to ensure no enemy that wishes to do us harm may cross our border. We take some of the fittest, smartest and most motivated young Australians and ask them to put their life on the line, for that line, to protect what's inside it. We ask that our defence members be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. It's a debt we can never truly repay. I've had the privilege of listening to many soldiers, sailors and pilots. In almost all of those conversations, one word comes up. That word is service. These Australians answer the call to serve our country and to serve our Australian flag. Defence personnel ask for something simple in return. They ask for something that I agree they deserve. They ask for a purpose to their service. They ask for a clear mission. Above all, they ask for accountable leaders. The Defence Force has been in a drought of accountable leadership at the very top. Politicians have always invoked the Anzac spirit in big speeches. But it's not enough to stand up on Anzac Day and claim to back the troops. We must deliver the things they deserve every day: a clear purpose, a clear mission and accountability for our leaders. Successive politicians, ministers and especially generals have failed to deliver this for our defence personnel. Australia had forces deployed to Afghanistan for 20 years. Australia's uniformed military was pitted against the Taliban, an insurgent guerrilla organisation. With superior technology, tactics and resources and training and troops, Western forces famously won nearly every tactical engagement. The Taliban reportedly had a saying, "You have the watches," referring to the West's better technology, "but we have the time." As some commentators quipped, we spent 20 years, billions of dollars, and sacrificed Australian lives to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. The tens of thousands of ADF personnel who were deployed to the Middle East deserve our praise. They accepted the call and committed their lives to it. It's the leaders, the politicians and the generals that must be held accountable for the decision to send our best to faraway lands. On his last day in Parliament, on the 7:30 report, former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer said that John Howard walked into Cabinet when he came back from 9/11 in the US and simply declared, "We're off to Iraq." No discussion with the public, not even a word of debate in Parliament, just a lie that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Iraq was an illegal war, based on a lie. There were no weapons of mass destruction, as our political leaders claimed. Yet not one politician or general has been jailed for throwing our best into it. Not one was even called out, even held accountable. Our enlisted and junior officers did everything they could to serve us while deployed to the wider Middle East. Scores paid the ultimate sacrifice. Scores. And the politicians and senior generals who failed them hamstrung our soldiers. Hamstrung them. Those apparent leaders never delivered a coherent reason for an end state or an end state for what we were trying to achieve. Without a compelling reason, the why, our soldiers were deployed in the Middle East, many of our veterans and serving members are left disillusioned. Make no mistake, there were no angels in the Taliban ranks. Those insurgents were some of the worst of the worst. Despite this, our warriors rightly asked, why? Why were we in desert countries spilling Australian blood, only for the Taliban to retake those bases from the Afghan army, as many on the ground warned they would? The answer is that the leaders failed to ever give our soldiers, aviators and sailors the purpose they deserved. Our lesson must be to never repeat these mistakes. The mission of our Defence Force should be clear. If you sign up for the armed forces, your job will be to protect the sovereign territory of Australia from anyone who wishes to do us harm. It will not be to fight forever wars in faraway land sent there based on lies. As a servant to the people of Queensland and Australia, I know that our warriors deserve a place in our military, a place in our hearts, and our service men and women deserve a damn good reason to be there, and they deserve and need strong leadership.